Hey y'all, this adult episode is brought to you by Crown 'em. Hey, I just wanted to take the time to spread a little autism awareness. First, I would like to say to the autism parents and the people with autism that we see you, we hear you, and we understand. And by we, I mean all of the autism advocates. As the days go by, we become more and more aware of the things that we need to help and make autistic people feel more comfortable. I do want to start off with something that I learned over the years. I used to be confused with how I addressed people when it came to autism. There are people that say autistic people, and there are people that say people with autism. And my first job as an RBT, it's a registered behavioral tech, and we help with ABA therapy with autistic children. And the first time I got my first job, I actually asked my boss which one people would prefer, because it can offend people, and I didn't want to do that. And I was told that autistic people rather be called autistic than to be called someone with autism. And they say this because autism isn't something that you can get rid of. So, for instance, if you were to say someone with something, it kind of sounds like you can get rid of it instead of saying an autistic child, because that stays with someone for the rest of their life. We have autistic adults. Like, autism does not go away. And that's really why I wanted to do this episode today. Okay, so autism also stands for ASD. And ASD is abbreviated for Autism Spectrum Disorder. And this disorder has a broad range of conditions. No autistic person is the same as the other. Some require significant support, and others less, maybe none at all. Autism spectrum disorder is what we call a neurodivergent. And a neurodivergent is basically a person whose brain difference affects how their brain works. And rather than thinking a person has a problem, neurodiversity embraces all differences. Which brings me to the symbols of autism. We all know that there is a blue ribbon, we have the infinity sign, and we also have the puzzle pieces. And I have a podcast I love to listen to called the Autism Little Learners Podcast. And that host of that podcast states that she would rather have an infinity sign to represent autism because the puzzle pieces have missing pieces, like there is something missing or something that's wrong or something that needs to be put together. And we don't really want that type of image or representation for autism because there's nothing wrong with you. That's why I prefer the infinity symbol. The infinity symbol represents people experiencing and interacting with the world around them in different ways. Because we have to remember that there is no one way of thinking. There's no one way of learning. And there's really no one way of behaving. Okay. So, I don't know if people know this, but 1 out of 36 children are diagnosed with autism. And this number has been growing dramatically. Many people have been questioning the cause of autism also. People are guessing it's coming from vaccines or women using drugs and alcohol through pregnancies. And some people have gone as far as saying as autism is not even real. That's why I'm grateful for the awareness that is spreading. More and more people are becoming aware of autism. And a lot of cases show that autism is actually genetic. So it's important for everyone to be aware and be evaluated. So the signs of autism usually start to appear around the ages of 2 to 3 years old. And the diagnoses are categorized. Are categorized in 3 different levels. These levels are determined by social communication and restrictive or repetitive behaviors. Okay, so each level of autism reflects on how much support a person needs. A person with level 1 autism will have hard time starting conversations with others and their peers. They might have trouble understanding and following social rules, and they can also have difficulty organizing and planning problems independently. Transitioning can become stressful also. So level 2 of autism will have limited special interest. They will also have frequent, repetitive, and restrictive behaviors. At this level, a person could need help with reading, and there's a very noticeable distress when there is a change within the level 2. And as in change, I mean as in transitioning or changing, as simple as changing a child's food. Like there can be a lot of distress from changing a meal. If that child gets apples every morning, if you sit a banana in front of, this doesn't, like I said, every child is different. But in level 2, they really have specific interest in food and activities and songs and things like that. So level 3 of autism, this level requires very substantial support. This level has severe communication deficits and a lot of repetitive behaviors like rocking and spinning around and flapping. And this level also will have extreme distress in changing tasks, and this will most likely need one-on-one time, often with educational professionals. And that's where us RBTs come in. We spend time every day teaching day-to-day needs, like asking for things, learning words. There are many nonverbal children, and a lot of us techs, we have to learn sign language. Sign language helps a lot, and that is one thing I know I'm going to need to study in this field, just so to benefit myself. And yes, ABA therapy helps a lot. They help with things like social skills, communication, even potty training. I'm not gonna lie, I have helped ABA therapy. We probably don't really get paid to potty train, but we do work on the transitioning to the toilet and things like that. But ABA therapy has parental meetings with doctors and technicians to keep everyone on page with the progress and even declining in behavior. Autism can also show up in babies. Also, if a baby was to not be smiling around 5 or 6 months, this could be a sign of autism spectrum disorder. They might not respond to certain games and songs that other babies will. Autism in babies could be a lack of response to their name by the age of 1. Many people do not catch these early signs of autism in babies and even toddlers. But like I've stated, there have been many changes throughout the years, and maybe in the future we will have more symptoms and signs to catch this. And that is all the awareness I have for this episode. I know I didn't get in too much of the signs and the symptoms and things that help besides ABA therapy. But I feel like this was a good starter episode. Once again, I've been working with autistic children for about 3 to 4 years now, but I'm not going to lie to anyone and say that I've got everything down packed and I know everything about it. So, yeah, I'm learning just as much as everyone else, and this is all I have for you today. Hit me up. Sweet.